to go to an early conference to give it what I will call or term a cool-off period immediately after its elective conference, precisely because we've witnessed that there are always challenges in terms of the leadership contest. You would know that the past two previous national conferences of the ANC have produced breakaways. And as a result of those breakaways, the ANC is being fragmented. That's why we're saying we want an early conference, but we don't want a contested leadership, because we want to deal with many issues, including infusing young people into the leadership of the ANC at the National Executive Committee level. That's why we want an early conference to re-engineer the ANC to position itself for 2019, where, if we're not mistaken, we're 34, 36 months away from national and provincial government election. And if we're going to have a conference of the ANC sitting in December, literally we're giving that elected leadership a year to turn things around, and which we think that is too short of a time to do so in light of the current challenges that are facing the organization. One thing that we wish to iron out, that this conference is not an end of all problems of the ANC, but it is a start towards dealing with some of the challenges that the ANC has.
Now, give us a fair assessment. What went wrong in these elections and who is to blame?
Well, the African National Congress has responded to that call, that a person to blame is the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress. And we are quite encouraged by that, because it means all of them want to own the success and the mistakes done over their term of office. And we're saying that is good leadership within the principles of the organization, that always we must have collective leadership. We are not going to blame a single individual. We are not going to deviate from what the NEC of the ANC has said, looking for one person to attribute all the mistakes to. Even the NEC, some of the things that they are taking blame for are not necessarily their own doings. There have been people at regional level, provincial level, who have been manipulating lists, removing people. That's not necessarily the doing of the NEC. And sometimes these things get reported, the NEC acts, sometimes it does not act, sometimes there's no one who comes forward to say that this has happened. That's why we're saying that collective leadership has taken a correct decision in saying that as a collective they accept that, but we need as an organization to reflect. We've got a problem. People remove people that are liked by communities to put their own friends. People, let's make an example, for instance. The Provincial Executive Committee of Limpopo of the ANC made it very clear in its meeting that it wanted Vincent Shoba to be a mayor in one of the district municipalities. In the NEC of the ANC, predominantly majority of NEC members, they were saying they want Vincent Shoba. For whatever reason, the chairperson of Limpopo of the ANC and the premier, they feels that Vincent Shoba can't lead. Whereas he even went to an extent of saying that kids can't lead municipalities. So those are the problems that you are sitting within the ANC. Those are the problems that you need to deal with. Those are people who have contributed. And that's what we need to do. You can no longer, in a democratic organization like the ANC, insist on giving people the candidate that you as a leader prefer over the candidate that the people want.
And are you calling for an early conference? When should this take place?
We're saying that the early conference of the ANC should take place before June of next year, so that you give at least 2 years to the elected leadership to begin to re-engineer the organization and position it correctly towards the 2019 national and provincial government elections.
And does the ANC Youth League realize that calling an early conference could accelerate a potentially damaging succession race too?
That's why we are saying that this conference does not need to be contested. We have made that clear, that we will lobby tireless to ensure that the Congress is not contested. For two reasons for us. The first one is that the organization is harmed, and we've witnessed it over time. It gets harmed every time there is a contest. Secondly is that sometimes you just elect weak leaders, because in a contest it becomes you are this side, I'm this side. Even when you are good on the other side, we fail to say, no, you are good on the other side. We will still elect you even when you're on that side, so that you contribute to the leadership of the ANC and its livelihood, the African National Congress. That's why we're saying this one must not be contested. Obviously,
is it possible for it not to be contested?
It is possible for it not to be contested when individual leaders and members place the organization above their interest. It can be done. The African National Congress has done it. In 1991 in Westville, when former President Thabo Mbeki was available to be Deputy President of the ANC, and the late General Secretary of the Communist Party and an NEC member of the ANC, Comrade Chris, they were available to contest Deputy President. They were told, both of them, that we are not going to contest, and they acted in the best interest of the organization. They agreed and stepped down. Those are the leaders we want.
And speaking about these leaders, who are these young leaders that you want to see in the party's national leadership structure specifically, or?
Well, we at this point don't have a name. We've been getting this question quite a lot. People are looking for names. We don't have names. We've got a principle. We need to infuse young blood. Look throughout the life of the African National Congress. Whenever there have been young people, you have seen the ANC regaining its strength. From the establishment of the Youth League in 1944, from that time onwards, the introduction of the leadership of Walter Sisulu, Nelson Mandela, and many others in the ANC changed the livelihood of the ANC. Let's make an example. Why are we saying this? Let's take the president of the ANC. The president of the ANC has been in the NEC of the ANC since the age of 35. He has been in that NEC more than half of the years that he has lived. He has been there for 39 years. We are saying that we want young people so they have got a nice lifespan in the organization to learn and be part of mistakes and achievements, so that they gain experience, and that experience they will impart to the next generation. We can't wait for all old people so that they go to pension. Then we say it's time to introduce young people. Then others complain that young people don't have experience. So we want to create this experience, this knowledge with them. Being present along the side of the youth. That's why we're saying that we don't want to get rid of their wisdom. We want to keep the wisdom. We want to put the energy of the youth. So good wisdom and good energy. We are quite certain that we are going to get a very positive outcome and re-engineering of an organization called the African National Congress.
Now, politics is all about perception and rights. Now that the ANC is not doing well because of the very leadership squabbles that marred the election, are you sure that this is the way forward to create kind of this instability? Or
it's not instability. In fact, we want to cause stability in the ANC. We want to stabilize the African National Congress ahead of 2019 national and provincial government elections. We are saying, in essence, that these elections, we've seen what the electorate is saying. The message is just clear. Because it's not that the electorate decided to vote opposition parties. Electorate decided to stay at home because they are saying that we belong to the African National Congress. We support the African National Congress, but in the current form and the way things are, it is better to stay at home than to continue to put the African National Congress in governance when it needs to re-engineer itself. We are saying that the African National Congress, as the parliament of the people, should not refuse to listen to the people. After all, it was established precisely for that, for people of this country to air their views. And when they air their views, the African National Congress needs to listen. When it stops listening, our people will turn their backs from the African National Congress.
And lastly, before we let you go, can you comment on your support for President Jacob Zuma?
Well, we don't know this kind of insistence that the Youth League wants a third term for President Zuma. That's why we are calling for an early conference. No, it's not the case. President Zuma in the NGC of the African National Congress made it clear that he would not accept nomination for president or any position of officials. He made it very clear. Now, we were equally aware that that was his view then. He could still change. But why are people obsessed about President Zuma? President Zuma has made it clear that he's not going to come back. So it's not about bringing President Zuma for a third term, but it's about taking care of the interest of an organization called African National Congress, which is far bigger and surpasses President Zuma. President Zuma is just one president amongst 12 presidents of the ANC. He can't be that special. Even the longest serving president of the ANC, O.R. Tambo, is not above the African National Congress. And that's why if you even go to its history, the African National Congress has always maintained that it's above any leader. Leaders come and go, but the African National Congress will always be there.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here on Morning Prime, Mr. Mkhize from the ANC